So good to be seen, and it's even better to see you. What's going on, guys? Welcome to a very, very special episode of The Vegan Lives. I, of course, am your host, Francisco Alvarez. Joining tonight is our very own Hudson Tarlow, all the way from the West Coast, California. He is a fellow activist, very young, mind you. He's only around 18, 19 years old, and he's done plenty for this community as of right now. So without further ado, I'm going to go ahead and let you in on what exactly it is that we are doing here. So The Vegan Lives is sort of like my own version of prorated content. That is to say, I am interviewing my fellow activists from around the world in an attempt to for you to have them, get to know them a little bit better, as well as I guess entertain you, as well as educate you on the topic. I can see Hudson is joining now. I'm going to go ahead and wave and bring him in. Just letting you guys know, we are in fact shooting for YouTube, so this will actually be shot and recorded on YouTube. Hey, there he is. What's going on, buddy? It's been a while. We've been meaning to do this for the longest time. We are finally getting together. How are you doing, man? How is let me get all David Begnaut on you. How is your new normal going?
My new normal is you know, it's good, but you know, it is weird. I went on a walk today, and then you know, I was gonna go to the trail I always go to, but today was you know, there was police tape over it, and then when it came to just walking around my block, every time I walked by someone, they went over to the other side of the street.
No,
so it's crazy.
I can definitely imagine, man. So let me ask you this: how are you doing as far as like groceries? Do you have face masks? Are you wearing gloves if you have to go out for whatever reason? Like, take me through the process right now in California for you.
Yeah, so it's definitely getting real. I mean, a few days ago was when they shut down all, because originally it was just businesses shutting down, and you know, like non-essential, but now it's all trails, all beaches, all bike paths. Anything besides the grocery store and the gas station is closed. And yeah, the grocery store is, I went for like, you know, whenever I go to the grocery store, it's like, luckily the vegan, well, not unluckily, nobody's buying the vegan stuff.
That's a good. More for you and me.
Good for me, but in the grand scheme of things, I wish they were sold out. But yeah, it was crazy. I went to the grocery store yesterday, and just it's like it's an apocalypse. Everybody just rushing to get their stuff, and then normally, you know, I say hi to the cashier, say how you doing, but this time I said hi to the cashier, and they're just like, I'm good, and it just you know,
just keeping even communication to a minimum.
Yeah, just people are just freaked out.
Yeah,
no small talk, but anyway, but you know, I'm alive. I'm doing a lot better than the millions of people, so I'm thankful to be able to work from home, and you know, I'm thankful for, you know, having the internet and all that stuff. So yeah, all in all, I'm doing good.
Good. I'm happy to hear that. I just wanted to get that out of the way and sort of break the ice for you. I know we've been meaning to get together for the longest time, and it's finally happened, albeit, you know, during quarantine, which is you know, facilitates things for a lot of people around the world. So for those of you guys tuning in, I'm Francis. I am a fellow activist. Right now, I'm currently an island kid. I am originally from, and I'm still currently living in Puerto Rico. So Hudson is joining us via Instagram Live all the way from California. What part, to be exact?
Los Angeles.
You're in LA. Okay, so it's 8 o'clock at my time, 5 p.m. his time. So we're making this happen, man. It's been a week in the making. I sent him some questions for him to answer right here, the most basic questions, as well as the most complex questions in the times we are currently living. So for those of you who don't know, Hudson Tarlow happens to be a fellow activist, and he is a consistent content creator for friends over at Anonymous for the Voiceless. He does that for time. So basically, a lot of the things that you see on social media on that account come from his computer, his cameras, and his editing. So on behalf of the entire community, Hudson, I want to welcome you. Hopefully I can ask some very intriguing questions, as well as entertain some of the questions that will inevitably be presented for us in the comments, as well as in the card. So let's get that out of the way, if you feel like asking Hudson a question, feel free to swing by the comments. Maybe he'll read you really quickly, as well as shoot me a private question. Maybe I can read it out on the air. So I figured that let's go ahead and break the ice, get that blood flow to the brain going. I'm going to ask you some really random ass, like personal questions for people to get to know you on a personal level, because before we dive headfirst into the pressing issues concerning this community. Okay, so
let's do it.
Let's play some 20 questions. What is the first thing you think of in the morning?
First thing I think of in the morning, activism.
Okay, nice. Would you rather work 8 hours standing or 10 hours sitting?
10 hours sitting.
Me too. What does your office or workspace look like?
It's very basic. There you go.
Okay. That's all you need. A desk and a chair and some good internet. I like it. What is your least type of music?
My what? My least favorite?
Your least favorite type of music?
Least favorite type of music? Country.
Okay. I know you're sort of like a punk rocker kid like myself.
Yeah,
I've been channeling that recently through you, so that's cool.
Nice.
If you could choose your nickname, what would it be?
HUD.
What's that?
HUD. H-U-D.
HUD. Okay, got
There
it.
you go.
That works. If you were a wicked tyrant, what country would you rule?
What country would I rule? I would rule... I don't even know. What country would I rule? New Zealand, because I was just there and it's super beautiful.
Okay, I hear you. We're going to be talking about that in a minute here. How can you tell if someone's a nerd?
If they... Dude, I don't know. I'm probably a nerd, to be honest. I don't know. If you just don't keep up with the social norms.
I like that. I like that. I'm not a fan of social convention, actually.
Yeah.
What is the most delightful word you can think of?
Veganism.
Yeah, me too. What supply in your house is running low? And please don't say toilet paper.
Soy milk.
Okay.
Yeah,
do you have a song that reminds you of a relationship? If so, what song?
Dude, I've never been in a relationship, so that's kind of tragic.
Okay. No problem. What is the one thing you own you wish you didn't?
One thing I own I wish I didn't? Dude, I don't know. Probably just random, like, T-shirts or something. Like, I don't know. If I look in my...
Probably something embarrassing, right?
Yeah.
What is the worst place you could get stuck?
Worst place you could get stuck? Yeah, I'm trying to think. If there's one place I wouldn't want to be in quarantine, I don't know, probably New York City right now. That would suck.
Yeah, that would suck. I would have guessed your answer would have probably been a slaughterhouse, but New York City is just as bad right now.
Yeah.
What is your favorite movie quote?
Favorite movie quote? I haven't seen a movie. I never watch movies. The only time I watch them is on the plane. So, I don't even know.
Okay, no problem. Last question. What would you do with your 15 minutes of fame?
I would speak for the animals in the way that I would want to be spoken for.
Okay, I like that. Boom, round over. Good job. High five yourself. Yes, thank you. So speaking of which, I don't know if you caught that David Begnaud video, Instagram video I posted a couple of days. I think it was yesterday, maybe, like during the morning. Did you catch that by any chance? Do you happen to know who he is?
Wait, who's this? Who are you talking about?
David Begnaud. He's a CBS News correspondent.
Okay, no, yeah, I didn't hear about this.
So he's actually fairly big as far as major news outlets, and every single night from his apartment in New York City, he's hosting Instagram lives and just having random people come over. And so he and I have somewhat of a past, and he and I initiated conversation like maybe a month ago now, and I just so happened to be able to join, and I spoke of nothing but like the root cause, the root problem,
nice.
and yeah. Speaking of which, that's why I felt like I wanted to share with the audience members, because it's so important for us to right now put a finger on what is actually causing this pandemic. So anyway, we are going to be talking about a lot of things. Obviously, you sort of have an idea of what we will be discussing, some very light some very fun, and some very serious. So without further ado, again, if you're just joining, I am joined today by Hudson, fellow activist from California. And this is sort of like a reinvention of content, in the sense that we are all not going anywhere for a while. We're obviously not going to grab a Snickers because that has dairy in it. And so what we're going to do is I'm going to be asking some very tough questions that hopefully you guys can be educated through as well as entertained. So let's get this party started, shall we? I am a firm believer, Hud, in aha moments, right? That instant when you come to the realization that veganism is the way to go. So having said that, when did that happen for you? And can you share that anecdote with us?
Yeah, for me, the aha moment, first of all, that's a good song. You haven't heard the song Aha. Oh, that's a good band. It's a good band. They do Take On Me. Anyway, let me think. My aha moment was when, I remember, so it was kind of a build-up. It first started when I saw Joey Carbstrong on YouTube. That was the first seed. And then I kept seeing more videos, some more stuff. I saw a bit of like James Aspie, Earthling Ed. The moment was when I found a YouTube channel called The Vegan Activist. It's this guy, Michael. He doesn't make videos anymore. He stopped in like 2015 or something, but just for what it was, that was the right time, right place. I saw his YouTube channel and I just binge watched like 20 of his videos. At the beginning of that, I was still like, it's inspiring. I like what these activists are doing, but I don't think I could actually go vegan. And then right then and there, after that day, I was like, I have to go vegan. That's it. And then my family, all my friends were telling me like, no, don't do it. So I didn't do it for 2 weeks. I'm like, oh, my family and friends, they must know what's best. But then it kept nagging me every single day. And then one day, it was June 9th, 2017. I'm like, I'm sick of this. Gonna take the leap, never look back.
Okay, and the rest, as they say, is history.
Yes, sir.
Okay.
Yeah.
Now, let me ask you this, and obviously I'm going to start bonus questioning you here. Is your family vegan? Did they go vegan with you?
So my sister, and this is never an easy question, right?
I know, right? I have to ask it, yeah, for our conversation purposes, yeah.
Yeah. So my sister went vegan right when I did. My mom did too. My dad, it took a while. He just recently, in the past few months, began eating a fully plant-based diet. When it comes to my family, my parents are 100% on a plant-based diet. Then there is a bit of conflict when it comes to our dogs, because our dogs are from breeders. So that's been the one thing. But when it comes to the food, I'm really grateful to be able to live in a household where I can open the fridge and there's no tortured animals. So I'm really grateful for that. So yeah, my family, they're all on 100% plant-based diets, and they really support what I'm doing. And yeah, I'm really grateful for that.
Oh man, then you, my friend, have it easy. I mean, I can just imagine. I mean, luckily, fortunately for me, Mom, although we don't live together, my mom actually went vegan with me as a result of a medical episode I had back in the day, which is why I started going plant-based. But I am all about the animals, as you probably know by now. So you've got it easy, man. I know a lot of people who they're like their sole vegan in the family, and it's not easy at all. And a lot of them still live at home with parents and stuff like that. So you're very fortunate in that sense. So I guess to answer and to add to you, I actually had a medical episode where I was paralyzed from the neck down. And
really?
For 4 months, believe it or not.
4 months, my God.
Yeah, I was bedridden for 4 months, and I was an only child, and I was actually vacationing on the island. I used to live in Atlanta and Miami. And so I was visiting my mom and my dad for Christmas 2009. And so one thing leads to another, and during a span of like maybe 4 days, I was paralyzed from the neck down. And I literally had no idea where it came from. It ended up being like an autoimmune disease. And next thing you know, man, I'm bedridden with nothing to do for 4 months. And so Mom starts researching, right? And she comes to the conclusion that maybe, perhaps, we truly are what we eat, as they say. So she does some research, and we start minimizing our consumption of red meat. We do away with poultry, and we also cut back on the amount of salmon. We were big on salmon back in the day. And so one thing leads to another. I start regaining my movement, my strength, and all that stuff. And I went full vegetarian. And you know how social media is, right? They're like, Oh, perhaps if you like a vegetarian post, you might even like a vegan post. You know the algorithm. You know how this works, right? And so I started seeing footage of slaughterhouses behind their closed walls. I started seeing mass fishing and how they're produced. And I'm like, you know what? That's it. I don't want to be a part of that. I don't want to sponsor that with my hard-earned money. That's not me. I can't believe I've been doing that for 32 years. And so I've been vegan for close to 4 now. And so what started as health, you know, and I've been on the record as saying I will never apologize because self-preservation is first and foremost. I am all about ethical veganism right now. And that's actually why I'm reaching out to you. So I thank you so much for being here with us today. Let's take a quick question from the audience here. Wow, that's a lot of them. Whew. Okay, this one's actually a good one. Let's see. Can you see that?
Oh yeah, there we go. Okay. Oh yeah. So how did it go with my parents? So my mom and my sister were those people where just like you just tell them and they're like, oh okay, I didn't know. All right, I'll go vegan. And then with my dad, it was a lot harder. Took a few years actually. The first 2 years, I was just leading by example. Nothing happened, and then eventually, I just had to treat the conversation like anybody on the streets, not beat around the bush, and say the only way to not be an animal abuser and to not be a hypocrite is to be vegan. The first few times it was tough, but when you speak the truth, it resonates with people. It might not be the first time, but what I found is if the truth will prevail, and if people are independent thinkers, it'll hit them. So eventually I was able to get through.
Okay, that makes a ton of sense. Ohm Twins in the house. Say hi, ladies. How's Mexico? I hope you're doing well. Okay, so let me ask you this then. You got your start rather early in activism. You're what, maybe 18, 19 years old?
Yeah, I'm 18. So I started activism when I was 16.
Okay, so having known that now, that's something I'm quite jealous because I wish I had done this a long time ago, knowing what I know now, of course, right? So have you ever gotten grief for being that kid with a loud mouth? Like, have people treated you dismissive because you're just this young?
Yeah, all the time. Yeah, that happens all the time.
Yeah, I mean, like what's that like? What does that make you feel when it comes to, you know, you trying to impart some knowledge, but they're just so like, get away from me, sport, or whatever they say to you? Like, how are they even disrespectful to you?
Yeah, I get so much disrespect. It's crazy, especially ever since making the Isaac Butterfield video. It got over almost 700 dislikes, and I've been getting, ever since he made that video, I've been getting hundreds of, my inbox on Instagram has been filling to over 100 messages a day from anti-vegans and carnivores and stuff. Yeah. And even from vegans saying that, oh, you should have just talked about the plant-based options and the Beyond Burger in that video. Shouldn't have been mean. And the first thing I'll say is that being an activist is not easy. And that there's, you know, it's, as humans, we want to be liked by people, to fit in. That's our biological survival. We can't leave the pack. So the first thing I'll say is that it's not always a walk in the park. And this is a very bittersweet thing to do, being an animal rights activist. Mm-hmm. What I will say, though, is that what I always do my best to do is think about how pathetic these people's lives are. Straight up, if you are commenting on somebody's post saying how they're a loser for defending animals, and if you see somebody, I mean, at school, you know, like I was an activist for 2 years in high school doing cubes every weekend, and everybody knew about it, and people would always say, look how pathetic this kid is. He doesn't want to come to the party and smoke weed. He wants to go to the activism events. Why do I care what these people think of me? These people are losers. They just sit around and play video games all day. I don't care what these people think of me. It's like, that's the perspective I really had to get into. Like, the people who make fun of you are the biggest losers, if you really think about it that way. And not just that they're making fun of you, but that they're making fun of you for speaking up for animals being stabbed to death. Right. So why would I care at all what these people think of me? I'm just going to keep doing my thing. And when you keep doing your thing and when you don't give into that hate, the people who hate you leave so quickly because, and they, in fact, they ended up respecting me a lot. When people in my high school, whenever I would get hate, I wouldn't even give it any attention because I would genuinely just feel bad. And then they would stop within a few days because they would see, oh, okay, well, I actually kind of have respect for this guy. This guy's an independent thinker. He doesn't care what anyone thinks of him. That's kind of cool. Like, it's kind of badass.
Yeah. No, and I'm totally with you. I don't think you can in order to be in this line of business, first and foremost. And second, perhaps to your point, there's a quote I love that says, "The loudest boos come from the cheapest seats."
Yeah.
Yes. So the best thing you can do is to ignore. So let me know in the comments if you like that quote. I think I am totally with Hudson on that one. Let's take another question here from the audience. Let's see. Okay, let's have some fun with this one.
I'm straight edge, so I just would leave.
Okay.
There you go.
All right. So it's been well documented that your rise in content creation has provided you with an opportunity to be a full-time editor at Anonymous for the Voiceless, something which I love, by the way. How did that opportunity come about, and what has that journey been like for you personally?
It's been the greatest thing of all time. I wouldn't trade this job for being the CEO of Microsoft or the CEO of whatever, Apple. Like, I'm so passionate about doing this, and there's really nothing else I'd want to be doing in the world, so I'm really grateful for that. The way it came about was I was just volunteering for about a bit over a year with Anonymous and the Voiceless, so I just got to know all the people that worked with AV. You know, I was always volunteering for every weekend for a year, and then I became an organizer for about 7 months. So I was doing calls with Paul and Saul, when we were talking about how to strengthen the LA chapter, and I was really getting to know them a lot because most smaller cities, especially a city like Los Angeles that I was organizing for, that's one that Paul and Saul really wanted to put a lot of work into and guidance and stuff because it's one of the biggest cities in the world. So I got to know them through that, and then I went to the Week of Truth with another activist, Ryuji Chua, Peace by Vegan. And that was a week-long event with Anonymous for the Voiceless, 12 hours a day on the streets of Manhattan. And I was there 12 hours a day, for 8 days straight. And Paul and Saul really saw my dedication. And there I said, hey guys, I'm a video editor. I've been filming my outreach this whole time. If you ever need people to film your outreach, if you ever need people to edit your outreach, let me know. I'd love to contribute just for free, just to help you guys out. And then they're kind of like, oh yeah, okay, kid, whatever. All right, and then I just didn't think anything of it.
See, that's the reason why I ask you about your age. Is like even Paul's like, hey, whatever. Kid.
Yeah, right. So just like, oh, okay. And then a month went by, nothing happened. So I just didn't even think about it. And then I got a message. I got a message from AV, like an email, and I was like, wait, what's this about? And I'm like, oh, wait, because they were saying, hey, our video editor just got another job, so we're in need for a new video editor. You were the last person who reached out to us, so would you be interested? And I'm like, oh my God, I totally forgot. It was just a random thing I just mentioned. I just didn't even think of it. So that's how that happened, and then I joined the team, and it's been such a great experience, and I'm really grateful to be able to combine my passions with activism, which I think is something that's really important, because then it doesn't feel like I'm burning myself out because I'm just doing something that I really like.
Nice. I think that putting yourself out there for free and sort of marketing and letting people know what you're capable of doing is a really good strategy. So if there's anybody here, whether you're a vegan or not, or a video editor or not, seriously, that is a great way, because I'm all about the business. So I'm a veganpreneur, if you will. So I think that what you did for these guys definitely got you through the door and open the door for you. So kudos to you. Let's take another question from the audience here. Okay, this is, in your opinion, is wearing secondhand thrifted leather vegan?
Technically, yes, but you're not harming any animals by doing it. So by the definition of veganism, that's a really tough one. I'm gonna say no. I would not do it, and I would say, because when you're doing that, you're promoting the idea that animals are here for us. For example, if you were fighting against the oppression of Jewish people in the Holocaust, and you're going to an event, yet you're wearing a jacket that was made from peeling off the skin of Jewish people who were thrown into gas chambers in the concentration camps, you're showing up to your event to protest against it wearing that jacket, you're totally contradicting yourself, because you're literally promoting right there that these oppressed beings are here for you, that they're just objects that can be reduced into a jacket. Same thing with leather. When we wear leather, we're promoting the idea and we're showing to the public that animals are here for us. And how are people ever going to take this message seriously if we are trivializing the suffering of the victims by wearing them on our skin and just completely treating them like objects? And it might not be causing that suffering. So by that definition, yeah, you might be able to like get away with it. I would never do it though, because it's making fun. How would you feel if you were killed and tortured to death and had your children taken away from you? And then when people were speaking up for you, they were wearing your skin that came from after cutting your throat open.
Yeah.
So that's how I look at it.
Yeah, I definitely share in your sentiment. I don't think that wearing any animal products, even before they're well after dead, or B, you've been a vegan for quite some time, I still don't think it's something you should sport out in public. It sends mixed signals. I mean, you say you're vegan, but then you sport leather jackets. It's like, it's neither here nor there. So hope that answers your question. Let me ask you this. You were right in the middle of what could have been arguably the most surreal experience within your short activism career. But were unfortunately grounded due to the global pandemic surrounding COVID-19. Assuming that would have still been in place, what was the mission for the team during this international tour?
The mission was to correct this vegan movement, because the definition of veganism has gotten so out of hands. If you watch the workshop, that's the first thing we talk about. What is the definition of veganism? Because right now, if you ask somebody what does it mean to be vegan, they'll tell you, oh, it means you're an environmentalist and you eat really healthy, you're a nutritionist, and you don't like the taste of animal products. All of this is completely conflated veganism, this health and this environment stuff. What we were promoting on that tour, and in 2021, we're going to get right back to it. The fact that veganism is solely about the animals, has nothing to do with health. This isn't some health message. This isn't some hippy-dippy environmental movement. This is just about not torturing animals to death. That was the main goal, just really clarifying what it means to be vegan.
Okay, so it's safe to say that for you and Paul and Ashal and the entire Anonymous for the Voiceless community, one I actually happen to represent when I do cubes here, is forever and always will be the animals at the forefront of the movement. That's what you're saying?
100%. Yeah.
Okay. Now, why do you think? Perhaps this is a bonus question or a follow-up question. Why do you think Paul chooses to make animals the priority?
The main reason is because imagine if you were abused your entire life. You were living among your own filth and waste and pee, and then you get your throat cut open when you're 6 months old, and then people who are speaking up for you were to say, oh, and you know what, guys, look at this environmental mess that he made from all this filth, and look at this environmental mess from giving him all this water that this caused. That would completely marginalize the suffering that you went through. And it's such an easy argument to lose. Going fishing in a kayak and eating a piece of salmon once a month compared to going to Carl's Jr. and getting a Beyond Burger, we've instantly lost the environmental argument and the health argument right there. So boom, we would completely lose the veganism argument. And that's why I believe we should just make veganism really simple. Also because we don't have much time with people. Like when we're talking about veganism, we're talking with our friends or family, they don't want to hear a 10-hour lecture. We got to get this quick and to the point. And I think we should just focus on what can't be justified, the fact that animals are being tortured to death. Because you can get in these loops when it comes to health and environment. You can go back on the studies, you can go back on the nutrition things. Oh, but science says this. And even if science doesn't says it, people eat how they feel. What if you don't feel good eating fruits and vegetables? What if you feel good eating animal products? Then you've completely lost it there. So for that reason, I think we should just stick right to what cannot be justified, and people would take it a lot more seriously.